Lessons on plane geometry, specifically angles, and we're going to start by talking about the properties of parallel lines. Now, parallel lines are lines that never intersect. This is because if we draw a straight line, let's see this, which is perpendicular to each of the two lines at any given point on the two lines. You would realize that if this is 5 centimeters, this will also be 5 centimeters, and this will also be 5 centimeters. That is, they have equidistant value between the two lines. And so if we extend these two lines on and on and on and on, you realize that the distance are going to be the same, and so these two lines can never branch to meet. It will never intersect. But if the distances are not the same, for instance, something like this, the distance here is not the same as the distance here, and it's not the same as the distance here. So gradually, if these lines are extended, they are going to meet at some point. Unlike parallel lines, they will never intersect. And so that is the idea behind the reason why we see parallel lines do not meet. Now, let's look at some properties of parallel lines when another straight line passes through them. And so in this diagram, we have two parallel lines, AB and CD. And there is another straight line, EF, that's cut through these two parallel lines. And so an angle is formed. Now we have what we call corresponding angles. Angle B and F, this B and this angle corresponds. Also, angle A and angle E also corresponds. That is one properties of angles that are formed on parallel lines. In the sense that if this is A and it corresponds to E, then A equals E. So anytime you have something similar like this, then you should know that so far as they correspond, then the angle are the same. We can also see that C and G also correspond, so C equals G. D and H also correspond, so D equals H, as well as we already said that B and F are the same, so B equals F, in the sense that they correspond. And one of the properties of corresponding angles are that they are equal. They are equal. You also have what we call alternate angles. Now, alternate angles are also the same. We can see that angle C and F can be termed as alternate angles, opposite to each other, but they are the same. And D and E is also the same as alternate angles. So angle E equals D, angle D, in the sense that they are alternate angles. So we can say C equals F, D equals E. So that is it on alternate angles. We can also talk about co-interior angles. With co-interior angles, they add up to 180 degrees. So these angles, C and E, are co-interior angles. D and F are also co-interior angles. Interior means inside. So co-interior, they are in relationship. They add up to 180 degrees. And so that is it. And co-interior angles are not the same. You cannot say C equals E. No, they are just co-interior angles. They add up to 180 rather. C, in fact, is equal to G, like we said, in a sense that C corresponds to what? G. So let's see if we can remember what we just learned. Now, if I take the angle A corresponds to E, C corresponds to G, D corresponds to H, B corresponds to F, C is an alternate angle of F, D is an alternate angle of E, B corresponds to what? F. D plus F is equal to 180 because they are co-interior angles. D plus F equals 180, as well as E plus C equals 180. They are co-interior angles. So that is all on properties of parallel lines. Please keep it at the back of your mind because you're going to be using this a lot. Now, there are some deductions that we can make from the properties of parallel lines. From the diagram, you can see that two triangles have been formed. That is triangle ABC. That is the bigger triangle. And then triangle ADE. And we have two parallel lines. That is the line DE and the lines BC. Now, we are saying that anytime you have a triangle like this, then this angle here is the same as this angle. So A equals C. And this angle here is the same as this angle here. B equals D. Hope you understand. It is very simple. Why? It is because A corresponds to C, and we learned that corresponding angles are equal. Let's try to deduct something from the diagram. If we extend this line, and we also extend this line, because parallel lines don't end, they are just going. And we extend this line, and we also extend this line. We extend this line, you also extend this line. You see something. Are you trying to see what I'm seeing? It's like these are parallel lines, and the thing is cutting through like this. And we have A to be here and C to be here. So what can you say about this? A corresponds to what? C, right? We also have something like this, and it cuts through like this. And we have B here, and we have D here, D here. What can you see? B corresponds to what? D, right? So that is the idea behind all these things. So anytime you have something similar like this, you should just know that A is equal to C, in the sense that when you extend, you realize that A corresponds to C and B corresponds to D.